Hi guys, welcome to Drum Dog, and today we're going to be talking about dynamics. Now, for those of you who don't know, dynamics, simply put, is just the volume that we're playing at. So from playing really loud up at high volume to playing really quiet down at a low volume, that's all just dynamics. Dynamics can really make the difference between a great drummer and a not so great drummer, even when they're playing exactly the same thing. I think everyone can agree that dynamics really brings any drum part to life. But today, we're not just talking about what dynamics are. I really want to get into the challenges that the two extremes of dynamics present. Now, we're often told as drummers to practice our dynamics, and whether that means practice playing loudly or practice playing quietly, it's something that I think we all know that we should do, and we do a little bit, but we don't often address the actual physical challenges that each end of that spectrum does bring to us. So today, to hone in on some of these problems, we're going to be playing this 1/16 hat beat all the way up the top of the spectrum, then all the way down at the bottom of the spectrum to dial in some of these challenges. So for our beat, we're going to be keeping a constant 16th note in the right hand, a 2 and 4 backbeat in the left hand, and down on the bass drum, we've got this 1E, a 3 and, 1E, a 3 and. Let's check it out just at a medium volume. Now, as we take this beat up to those ends of that dynamic spectrum, it's going to present different challenges for different players. If you're naturally quite a quiet player and often have a light touch, playing this really loudly is going to feel alien to you. But likewise, if you're a metal guy or a rock guy and you're used to hitting really hard, to play this really quietly is going to present exactly the same challenge. So it's not to say that one way is harder or easier, but it's going to present a different challenge depending on what your natural touch is on the kit. Now, to kick things off here, we're going to play it right at the top as loud as we can. Now, whenever we play loudly, our initial instinct is to grip hard and to hit hard and just to power through it. And while that does achieve the result, it's not good on your sticks, cymbals, drum heads, and your body. There's so much impact that you're not allowing to vibrate, that you're just absorbing, that's coming through the stick, down your arm, and you'll actually do yourself physical damage if you play like that for extended periods. Now, because of that, anytime that we're playing loudly, we want to maintain as much relaxation in our arms as possible. And one thing I think we often forget is that our arms on their own are really heavy. Try this now. Just let your arm completely rest, let it as loose as you can, and then hold it in your other arm. There's so much weight there. So we don't have to force that weight down to play loud. We don't have to tense up that arm and force it down as hard as we can. All we have to do is hold it up and let it drop. And there's a lot of energy there. That actually kind of hurt my leg. With that in mind, let's carry on that relaxed falling of weight onto the kit now to get some real volume into this beat. Now, when you're playing this, it's essential that we're using click for this particular exercise, so we keep our speed the same for when we're playing loud and when we're playing quiet. And on top of that, I want you guys to play it on a single loop, no fills, no variations, for as long as possible. And you'll find that at a certain point, something will feel uncomfortable. Whether that's your ankle starting to get a little bit tense or starting to feel that warmth where it's having to hit really hard and work hard, or whether it's your left wrist is starting to feel a little bit uncomfortable, or maybe your right shoulder. Sense that discomfort as soon as it shows and try and trace it to a part in your technique that you might be a little bit too stiff on, or not relaxing and letting that weight fall like we spoke about. Once you've been able to find out what that issue is and isolate it, if you can fix that, then you'll find that you're able to loop that beat for longer without any issues. Now this kind of thing is going to be essential for any kind of stamina on a high volume gig. But now let's move on right down to the other end of the spectrum. Now, as we're playing this beat as quietly as we can, it's going to be completely different challenges that are presented to us compared to playing it loud. So now, instead of it being a stamina issue where we can't play that loud for long enough, it's going to be a small muscle control thing to play at that consistent low dynamic without it wavering. The one thing on top of that I think always suffers the most with any low dynamic beat is a lack of intensity. Now what I mean by that is that just because we're playing a beat quietly doesn't mean that it can't be tight and exciting and have energy and be a driving force of music. Because so often when we play quiet beats, we just play them soft and fluffy and they don't have those sharp edges that we bring in with higher dynamics. When you play this beat quietly, I want you to have that same rhythmic intensity, that same sharp locking in of the grid between hat and kick, that even though we're playing quietly, we're going to keep that beat pushing forwards, just quieter. Now this rhythmic intensity in a low dynamic can be something that's really hard to get the hang of. This could take some time of you just locking in with that click, relaxing, listening, hearing for those beats being dead on the money and that dynamic not changing and shifting higher and then lower. Now, especially on the hat and the bass drum with those 16ths in there, that is a surprisingly hard beat to play quietly. For me personally, that's more of a challenge than playing at that high dynamic. So I'm going to spend more time on that than the one I'm stronger at. Now, although we've only done this exercise with one particular beat here with this 16th feel, this is something that you could apply to anything, any beat from any genre, as loud and as quiet as possible, and different beats are going to present different challenges. I promise you guys that playing beats in their not native dynamics, playing them at the absolute other end of the spectrum they're supposed to be at, is going to bring so much to your playing, no matter which direction that's going in. I really hope you guys enjoyed this lesson and it spelled out those challenges of playing at those extremes of dynamics. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and if you want to see more lessons like this, go and check out our website, drum.dog. Hope to see you soon.